Welcome to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. This video is going to take you out for a walk on the beach and check out the seaweed situation. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Just for context, we have a map here and I've already circled a section right here at the end of Avenue Constituente in front of the Hilton. That's where we're going to go for a walk today and check out the seaweed situation. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Street lights still on. Sunrise is around 6:30 a.m. today. We're out a little bit before that. It's a cloudy one. Doesn't look like we're going to see the sunrise this morning, but here we are at the end of Avenue Constituente. We've got a bit of a breeze today off the water, and this is my 19th week of doing a seaweed update on the beach in Playa del Carmen. We've got some workers to the left here. They set up this palapa probably about week 4 for me, and I can't believe how fast they built that palapa. I was down here one night and I watched them put it up. But you've got the usual bunch out here kind of looking for the sunrise, just enjoying nature, looking over. So they're looking over right where the sun would rise, but we're not going to see it today. It's probably about 6:25 and we're here to have a look at the seaweed situation. I have not really had much to say the last 3 or 4 weeks. It seems like it's super hit and miss. There is a clump of the seaweed. That stuff smells. It's been there for longer than 24 hours. That's not good for you to be sitting there breathing it in. But we look at this amount of seaweed right here, and not a lot. I am still not alarmed by the amount of seaweed, especially when you compare it to last year at this time. It is much better. And there is the Hilton, the Bali beds. I had a comment from a person that said they were sitting in the Bali beds a few days ago and they just watched part of the beach. The erosion has been unbelievable lately. The beach is so much smaller than it was 19 weeks ago. About maybe a month and a half ago, 5 or 6 weeks ago, I thought, oh, it looks like it's kind of eroding. And now it's become very obvious. The seaweed, we've gotten a little bit more, maybe in the last 2 or 3 weeks, but still not huge cause for concern. It's not really like laying in the water there. You could go in and swim. The water still looks pretty good. So we've got beach erosion and we've got a little bit more seaweed, but I want to take my hat off to the people working on the beach. They have really been doing a good job cleaning it up. The barriers are out, held in by anchors. There's 8.5 kilometers of it out there, of this barrier that's preventing the seaweed from coming in. The government has been super proactive this year. They've also got some boats out there picking it up and skimming it off the top of the water so that, and they're preventing it from coming in. I'm really looking forward to tourism stats compared to last year at this time. I was down here last year at this time and the seaweed was 10 times the amount. They could not handle it. They could not manage it like they're managing it now. They've got tractors. They've got these back lifts in place that kind of come along and pick up the seaweed. But when they're picking up the seaweed, they're also picking up some of the sand. The sand and the erosion has been noticeable, and other people are noticing it. And I referred to it in the last maybe 3, 4, 5 weeks, and people have said yes, because it seems like there's another level of lawn chairs. You can see the Bali beds there. You see another row of chairs, and I don't know, I thought maybe that's why the beach looks smaller to me, but People are saying yes, there's been a bunch of erosion, and look at that, the beach is much smaller there than it was 19 weeks ago when I started this all. But concerning the seaweed, I would say it's still okay. If it was the way it was last year, I would not be here. Our time is probably coming to an end down here in Playa, and it's not going to be because of the seaweed situation, which I thought would be the determining factor of why we'd be going home. But look at that, that's fairly new seaweed. It does not stink. They're going to pick that up. It'll take a few hours. By noon, everything will be fine. And up and down, all the way from Cancun, all the way down to Tulum, it is super hit and miss. So if you're watching this video and you're wondering, hey, what's it going to be like April, May, June, July? I'll say it like I've been saying the last 2 months. You would ask me in February, what's it going to be like? I would have said, it's going to be horrible. Only because that was my experience last year. But it is 10 times better this year. This is early in the morning. Workers really haven't gotten to it yet. And I can't complain. So if you are coming down and you're coming down in the next week or two, this is what it's going to be like at 6:30 in the morning. By noon, it should be all gone. You can see in the water if you wanted to get into the water. You haven't got clumps of it all around. Last year at this time, you'd have 10 to 12 feet of a mound of seaweed on the beach, and then you would get to the water and you would have to swim out minimum 20 feet to get out to some open water. You'd be swimming in the seaweed. And for fear that there was some sort of jellyfish in there that was stinging people last year, I know the seaweed is kind of necessary. Certain organisms live in it and grow in it. But look at this. This is not that bad. So I would say if you're thinking of coming down, it still looks pretty good, but I would like to know, like a year from now, looking back, have the occupancy rates of these hotels been much higher this year than they were the year previous in 2023 because there's less seaweed. And I'd also like to know, are the barriers, are the boats out there, and the special boats that are picking up all the seaweed offshore there, and the amount of work all these people are doing on the shore here, if that's a determining factor why it's okay this year. I don't really have any concrete answers. All I can do is report on it here, and I would say if you're coming down, this is not going to be cause for concern. You can still see the lights are on. The lights at the hotels and stuff, because the sun has not really come up yet. It should be coming up over the horizon, and those lights should be going off. But it's going to be another beautiful day here in Playa. If you're looking at coming down and getting on the beach, a lot of people are staying. I'll just stay at my hotel pool, but as we kind of walk here, you can see there's less and less of it, and it would not really bother me to get in the water there. So I'm going to say thanks for coming along on the walk. This is Playa Beach Seaweed Update Walk number 19, and I think things look pretty good. Like, I'm not even going to say pretty good, really good, and really good concerning what I thought they were going to be. So I'm going to say hats off to the Mexican government for putting all those safeguards in place to keep the seaweed to a minimum and keep the tourism really kind of, it is really busy here. So they're doing something right. I'm going to say thanks for coming along. Ciao for now, and I'll see you next week. Things look good in Playa.